Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the thebolusmaximus podcast. My name is Matthew Taro. I'm here with my co-founder and co-host, Brandon A. Denson. We've got a super exciting conversation coming to you today. We are speaking with Khalid Keshta. He is a type 1 diabetic personal trainer, nutritionist, diabetes specialist, educator, and bodybuilder, and also runs a platform, Diabetes Academy, serving as an ambassador for companies such as Omnipod, Yummzy, 10 Athletics, and more. Khalid, welcome so much. How are you today?
I'm all good, Matt. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Very well. I know you've traveled today, so it's evening there. You're in the UK. You're living in London. You were born and raised in London, yeah?
I wasn't born in London, so I was born in Cairo, Egypt, and then I moved here when I was 1. Stayed here for about 5 years, then moved back to Egypt, and then back again in UK. I think since 2008. I always get confused. 2008, I think. Yeah.
So you call that home?
I call both home, to be honest. Yeah, Egypt and England.
And you have family in Egypt, in the Cairo area?
Yeah, right now they are. Only my brother is here, but at one point, all of us used to live here. So all our work and studies and everything was here pretty much. But yeah, they decided to go back there and retire there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you joining us because I think this conversation, is long overdue. You joined us about a year ago. We've been doing Sunday calls for individuals who live with diabetes and their caregivers. And that's a topic that's come up a few times, but you were able to join us and speak to, what it's like being an educator and somebody who is a specialist dealing with specifically young men and women who live with diabetes, but knowing what it is to be a diabetic yourself or a person living with diabetes. You'd had this transition back and forth. When were you diagnosed? What was that like for your family to deal with as you traveled and moved like that?
So my story quickly is that I got diagnosed on my 18th birthday. At that time, I had all the symptoms that you could think of: extreme thirst, lethargic. I lost a lot of weight, and I was very athletic back then as well. I used to play football, so it was unusual for this to happen.
Hold on, what kind of football? Soccer or American
football?
Oh
no, soccer. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I gotta clarify that. I gotta clarify that.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. No, soccer. Yeah. So yeah, I used to play here actually for a professional club in England. And my health started deteriorating, and we started noticing that something isn't right. Both my parents are doctors. We bought a blood sugar monitor. They tested me, and the figures here in UK is from 4 to 8 millimole per liter. That's like the normal range. In America, it's about 70 to 140. Mine actually didn't give any value when they tested. So and when my parents tested and my siblings tested, it gave the right value, the correct one, something within range, like a 5 or 6 or so. So they took me to the hospital because the monitor said if it doesn't give value, there's either an error or your blood sugar is just sky high, like it's out of range. So went to the hospital and my blood sugar was around 47 millimole per liter, which is the equivalent of like 860 or 870. So yeah, it was ridiculously high. So straight away they put me on insulin drips and I went into a coma. And I was so bad that I woke up hypoglycemic when my blood sugar was 15 millimoles per liter, which is actually hypoglycemic. Yeah. But because my body's used to the extreme high level of hyperglycemia and the ketoacidosis that I had, my body kind of felt hypo. But woke up from this, and I can tell you, which is shocking, but I actually felt so happy, extremely happy that I got diagnosed, because at least I knew what was wrong, because I was suffering from an issue that I didn't know what it was. I knew that I didn't feel right, but I don't know what's going on. It's not that I got involved into an accident or anything. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we didn't set a topic for today, because I was diagnosed at 16, Brandon 17, and you 18.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Becoming.
And so yours was a little bit more extreme than ours, but still, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I think one of the reasons it was extreme is because when I got thirsty, I used to go buy energy drinks.
That's what I did.
Yeah, it's like
I
hey, I'm
Gatorade.
thirsty, and
yeah, the Gatorade quenched my thirst, or an energy.
Exactly.
Quenched
Gatorade,
my thirst in such a way that I felt better drinking that than not. And if I was going to drink water, that's fine. But I wanted something that tastes good that was going to do the same thing. So I would go buy, from the vending machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I bought 2 bottles of Powerade, which is Gatorade in US, and just before I get the test done. So I was like, they were testing me, and I was like sipping on it, and the doctor was, the nurse was looking at me. She's like, "What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
that's not right." But yeah, I mean, because I once tried to count how many liters of water I'm drinking a day, and I exceeded 14 liters.
Wow.
And obviously, yeah, not all of it is water, like juice and
Yeah, sure.
Pepsi.
I mean, that's gallons of water. Yeah, I mean that's enough water for a couple people for a day, and that's like, I was doing the same thing. I had a 2-liter bottle of Gatorade in one American football game sitting, a full 2-liter bottle of Gatorade. So Brandon, tell us, how much were you drinking?
Man, when I was first, prior to being diagnosed, like you said, man, just drinking, right? And that probably just caused more problems or elevated the sugars. But it was one of those things, just didn't know, and I think my first thing to go to wasn't water. I mean, come on, 16, 17 years old. Like, my first thing is like, hey, I want some Gatorade. I want like some soda pop, whatever. I don't really want to go to the water. So, I think that definitely made things progress a lot sooner, and then also probably raised the sugar like it did for all of us. I'm pretty sure.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wait, so you said though that you went into a coma. How long were you in a coma?
Only one night, so only like a few hours till I got hypo, and then I woke up craving something, and I didn't understand what it was. And then I slept again, and then I woke up the next morning. I can tell you, I felt better than ever that morning, because it's like I started seeing HD colors. I didn't have the urge to go to the toilet, or the first time for months that I didn't wake up thirsty.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing feeling. So whenever I do get asked in podcasts and interviews and stuff, how did you feel? I actually felt good, which is shocking, because of course I just got diagnosed with diabetes, which is a chronic condition. So I should be, concerned in a way. But for me, anything that would get me out of that extreme illness that I was in was great, was a win-win for me. So,
but Khalid, I think what you said is important, because some people, you feel a certain way for so long, right? And then you actually have an answer to what the hell has been going on, so I know that probably, like you said, it's opposite of some people's like, oh man, I'm diagnosed with diabetes. It was like you were at least in that moment, you understood, like, okay, this is what's going on. Now how can we help get me better, or put me on the right track?
Exactly that. Like 100 years ago, if you get diagnosed, there was no insulin, there was no treatment.
Yeah.
Like you can't feel better in a way unless you starve yourself. So yeah, we are. I think we're blessed. That's what I'm gonna say.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, you're a young man. It is your 18th birthday. You get diagnosed. You go through this. And then there's obviously it's a traumatic event, whether or not people identify it as such. And it is something that I identified through therapy as being a loss, right? There was a lot of us don't go through a grieving process after you're diagnosed. And a lot of people be like, well, why would you need to do that? Well, the loss that you experience, you don't realize until years later, possibly. So can you tell me about that transition? Is it, maybe you were in uni, or you're just going in, and you're thinking about maybe becoming somebody who, wants to help others living with diabetes? How did you get to that point?
So as I said, I used to play football, and I started seeing that my performance is deteriorating as well when I played football. When I got diagnosed, straight away I went back to my football club and I started playing. I was better than ever. 3 months after that, I broke my knee and I ruptured my cruciate ligament. Basically, I had 2 operations that failed, and then my football career was over. I started hitting the gym. All this while I'm still learning about my diabetes. So I accepted it as a condition that I have. Okay, what I thought back then, what I need extra is just inject insulin, which I don't mind doing. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. When I started working out, I started seeing that my body is kind of transforming quicker than other people that don't have diabetes. So that myth that is going around that if you have diabetes, you're most probably obese, or you're old, or you can't get involved in high intensity exercises, otherwise you're going to go low, you're going to get into a coma, or you can't eat a lot of carbs, or you're going to get ketoacidosis. There's so much out there going on that it's wrong, because I saw myself doing it without even trying. So at that point, I wasn't even trying to compete in bodybuilding or anything. So I started my social media account. I just opened an Instagram and started posting about what I'm doing, just to show people that, okay, you know what, it's possible. Because not every, but the majority of people with diabetes that I meet, they just they can't get involved in stuff that they want to get involved in. So whether it's exercise, whether it's traveling, even traveling, like some people, they don't travel because they're afraid. What if their blood sugar drops while they're on the plane? Stuff like that. So that kind of ignited the passion that for me to try to actually raise awareness about the condition. Alongside that, I kept on training while I was working. So originally, by the way, I'm a civil engineer. So I used to work in a construction company. With my job, I started, after creating my social media accounts, I started working out even harder. And then I went to a bodybuilding competition and I saw people competing. And I thought, what if I do this? And maybe if I win, that would show people that, you know, diabetes isn't gonna stop you from anything. Yes, it does give us challenges. No one can deny that, but it can't really stop you, because bodybuilding is one of the hardest sports out there, considering the dieting that gets into it. And I started preparing for a competition, and I went into my first competition. I won it, and that basically was the complete transition from where I had like a small account. I was speaking to a few people to actually, making my presence kind of bigger in the diabetes community, especially in UK and Egypt, and then it extended internationally. That there is a diabetic bodybuilder. There's a bodybuilder with type 1 diabetes that is competing and winning against other people that don't have diabetes. So that was the start point of me actually using this just to become like some sort of role model in that field, in the exercise, diabetes and the exercising field. And then obviously every time I meet someone, whether it's online or in real life, face to face, they kind of can't believe it. Not even because they've tried and failed, but they got told that it's impossible to, for example, gain this amount of muscles or get involved in this high intensity sports. And a lot of this advice also comes from professionals, which is sad. I don't know about US, but sometimes in some areas, I wouldn't like a minority, but some physicians or so, they would advise people not getting into high intensity activity. And obviously psychologically, that would make you feel ill, that there is something out there that you can't do. And that's when it hits you mentally, that psychologically I cannot work on something that I want to approach in life. So that's how I had that transition, and that's how I overcame it mentally. But saying so, of course, diabetes does come with all the challenges and all the mental challenges as well. And as you said, it doesn't happen straight away. Like at the start, you think you only need some insulin, but when you're carb counting, when you're taking insulin, when you're caring about what's going to happen before your workout, after your workout, you have to be carrying your sugar, your insulin, your blood sugar monitor all the time. It does kind of build up.
Yeah, but I think what you said is spot on. Having something or somebody in the beginning, and even if it is on your own accord, and it maybe is an internal thought or processing of this information, but knowing that you actually can do it, and then attempting to do something, or like actually going through it. Shout out to the first CDE, or the Certified Diabetes Educator, that I had here in the States, Anna Bordarelli. She very much encouraged myself and my mother in that meeting room, that little office that we were sitting in. I was like, just diagnosed, right? November, end of November. And then by the end of December, I was going on a snowboarding trip. And she was like, no, you have to go. Like you have to know that you can do those things as a person living with diabetes. Like you should go. Because my mother was questioning whether or not it was too soon. She's like, no. She was like, how do you feel? I was like, good, let's do it. She's like, all right. So obviously major precaution, but still that helped me get over it without even realizing it until, again, years later, that helped me understand how quickly it was like, no, you're a normal person. You do have to do this weird thing with needles every day in public, but you're a normal person.
I think
Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Matt, but I think it's what Khalid, what you said is like one of those things. Like you hear so many different things from licensed medical professionals, and it's never consistent, you know, from even being in the US to being in the UK. There's so many different things. And I take it back to when I was first diagnosed, because I played for sports in high school. I've always loved sports. That was kind of like my outlet to channel my energy: football, baseball, basketball, track. And, you know, one of the questions that I asked the doctor, I was like, so, you know, going into my senior year, which was a major year for, as we say, Americans to go to college, you know, that next year, getting that film, getting good film in football, the American football, not the real football that you guys play. I call that the real football. But
I'm glad that you called it that.
no, it's real. That's real football. You know what I mean? I go back and forth with people about the other time. They get mad, but it's the truth. But you know, like my question from my endocrinologist when I was first diagnosed was like, can I still play sports? And he was like, absolutely, of course. He's like, I want you to. So, you know, imagine hearing that as a kid, or just in general, as a teenager, a young kid, or, you know, even elderly, if you're into things that with activity, doing things with activity, whether it's walking, running, jogging, rollerblading, playing sports, like somebody telling you that you can't do those things, that's gonna mentally, that's gonna kind of mess with you a little bit. It's like this is already my outlet to get away from things, but then somebody telling you that is a licensed, trained medical professional that you can't do those things. So you know, kudos to you for continuing to do what you do in this space, in the diabetes space, and ever since you were diagnosed as well.
You couldn't have said it better, to be honest, because mentally, that's how you're prepped for life. Put it that way. That's how I call it. As I said, a lot of certified physicians out there, they would push you to, you know, get involved in activities, live a normal life. Some won't. I remember I used to live in a place called Reading, and my nurse, I went to her and I told her when I started training, I told her, hey, by the way, on one of my checkups, I told her, I want to become a bodybuilder, just to let you know, that's what I'm training for right now. She told me two things. She told me, first of all, you can't. So you actually can't. If you want to, you won't be able to, because you're diabetic. And yeah, you're not gonna do it. Like, we're not gonna let you do it, because it's gonna have like drastic changes on your health. And yeah, so that's when I listened to her, and I'm like, actually, you know what, I'm gonna just go and do it. And I really wanted to visit her after competing and winning, but yeah, it didn't happen. But basically, I was old enough to be able to take my own decision. If that was being told to a kid or a youngster, that's going to be an issue. And it does happen in some areas. They take the easy route.
So how did that, I would say essentially, so it started ultimately with the bodybuilding, and then it crossed over to you saying like, all right, I've proven to myself and to others that I live with this disease. I have type 1 diabetes, but I want to show people that they can do this as well and be involved in, like you said, I don't think other people really understand the aspect of bodybuilding, like what goes into that, like the discipline for just from a dieting perspective, but the things that you have to do. But then living with diabetes, throwing that on top of it, because I have a former teammate from Michigan State that's into bodybuilding, and that crossover from being diagnosed to going into it like just 120 miles an hour, and then trying to help other individuals. How did that cross over for you for your Diabetes Academy?
Okay, so first, it's actually the other way around. So if I didn't have diabetes, and if I didn't have the passion to start raising awareness about diabetes and start educating people and getting my career into the diabetes industry, I wouldn't have been doing bodybuilding, because my passion since I was a kid is to be a footballer. So it's actually the other way around. But when I started competing and I started getting some sort of exposure and engagement from people, and seeing that just doing it without even talking, without even creating content, which I'm gonna jump on in a bit, but without even creating any helpful content to people, just doing it, being on stage, wearing my gadgets, my insulin pump or my sensor, and showing it. And even when I win competitions, I always put like if I have an insulin pen, I would put it on my trophy and just show it to people. Does make a huge difference, a huge difference to kids and parents, because lots of parents, they think it's the end of the world. I speak to loads and loads of parents with kids that got diagnosed at a very young age, and they think it's, the parents themselves get depressed because of it. They think that's it. The kid can't get involved, can't have a normal life. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So the transition is, I decided, I saw that what I'm doing is kind of beneficial. I have my social media accounts. I create contents pretty much every day, create videos, educational videos to help. I started creating courses, and then I started becoming a qualified personal trainer and a nutritionist. I took qualifications for it, and then I became a diabetes specialist in the exercise field. And that's when I quit my job in the construction industry, and I decided I'm going to do this full time. So I opened.
Congratulations to that. That's huge.
What is it?
I said congratulations for quitting your job and following something that you're passionate about, where you can still make money, but then also make a huge impact with other individuals.
Exactly that. Exactly. It was a huge risk, to be honest, because I did quit at the wrong time. I quit like just pre-COVID, so it wasn't right. But no. It's exactly what you said. Is if I'm doing a job and I can make that my job, something that I am passionate about, and something that actually benefits people in a different way. So every job is beneficial, but this is so close to my heart, and what me and others are doing these days, the community kind of lacks of it. So if we talk about exercising with diabetes, you won't find a lot of coaches out there, for example, that are specialized in this case. So my clients, just an example, the majority of them, they would come to me not because I am a good coach, but no, they would come to me because I have diabetes. If they have diabetes, that's like, and that would apply in any other condition as well, because I went through what they are going through now. So that makes the huge difference. So that's why I thought that job is just very unique and very close to my heart, and way more beneficial than any other job that I would do.
You're doing it with your family, right? Like, this is something that you're constantly working. I mean, it seems like everybody in the family is involved in the academy, right?
So when I got diagnosed, all my family, they became a diabetes specialist. So like,
so everyone, my first question, I wanted to ask you this before and it just popped back in my head, but was there a large Egyptian community in London when you moved there?
Good question.
There is a large one. I mean, London is very diverse.
True.
But I'm not in where I used to live back then.
Like, as a young man, like one that you felt comfortable with, or like people that you ran with. Like, I don't know, but like but you understand what I'm saying. Like, at a young age, at that 18 years old, you're diagnosed, you're in that space. Are there people around you outside of your family? Because it definitely seems like they were the.
Yeah, I will tell you something. I was very lucky. Everyone around me was supportive. So I got diagnosed in my first year at uni, and everyone in my uni was extremely supportive. They kind of understood what I went through. But again, I think they were supportive because I was never embarrassed of the condition. So put it that way. If I'm
Okay.
someone,
Yeah.
I go like, hey, Khalid, why did you miss your uni for a month or something? Oh, I just got diagnosed with diabetes. Yeah, I take insulin. Here's my insulin pen and so on. And I just talk about it to everyone. And obviously back then I didn't even have a sensor. So I showed them like my blood sugar monitor. And that's how I measure my blood sugar. So I was completely open about it. And I always, till today, I'm always open to show off my diabetes. So I think by doing this, sorry?
Us too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Like
by doing this, this closes the door for any sort of bullying, any sort of, you know, embarrassment or lack of support, because people see you already strong enough to
Yeah.
deal with that condition. So they can see that it's nothing. It's basically for you. It's just life. It's normal. That's how you deal with it. You don't treat it as an illness, do you?
It's tough because a lot of families, it is a highly sensitive medical situation, and rightfully so. I'm not taking anything away from anybody's process, what they do at home, how they treat their diabetes. It's life. We want to help you, the three of us, the collective, we, the people in the community, we want to help individuals. But I definitely think that language plays a large role. How you identify what it is that you're living with. Is it a disease? What is it? Some people say, oh, I don't say I have a chronic illness. I don't like to say that. I go, well, I can accept that I live with a chronic illness and that it's a disability, but I can tell you that I am not disabled in the way that I go snowboard, hike, mountain bike, walk with my dog all these miles every day. I go, I can do that like I want to. I can do anything I want to. So, but there's a lot of dark thoughts especially for young men, about challenges, about what they can't do, what they don't see in front of them. And then when they don't have support, what are they supposed to, who do they turn to? So, well, I'd love to know this. So was the Keshta Academy something that had already started, or was that through all of this that kind of developed in the last couple of years? And your family has tremendously been supporting that initiative.
So first of all, just to answer one of your questions, as I said, we cannot deny the challenges that come with diabetes.
Right.
Myself, yourself, Brandon, I'm sure everyone on daily basis, the fact that you need to check your blood sugar all the time, you need to, consider your insulin. Like we became mathematicians by calculating carbs and insulin dosage and all that. So it comes with some effort. Call it stress, call it effort, call it a 24/7 job, call it a disease, call it an illness, call it a condition. I think what's more important is how to deal with it. The issue here is when you're someone positive about your life, about your condition, and then someone else walks into you and say, oh, like, as you said, the language matters in the sense that you might bring someone down by just talking negative about it. That's why I'm just like you. I don't call it an illness, even though if it scientifically it could be called an illness, it could be called a disability, it could be called whatever people want to call it, but language matters. So I just wanted to point that out there, as you said. Keshta Academy is something that has been running for about 2 years now. So what I do is I coach people, whether they are individuals, athletes, parents that have kids that they want to take care of, coach them of how to manage their diabetes and also how to get their goal, whether it's getting the right physique, transforming their body, getting the performance that they want in their sport. So I was a nutritionist for a professional boxer. He's got type 1 diabetes. His name is actually Muhammad Ali. I know people don't believe it, but that's actually his name.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that guy, for example, I helped him with his nutrition and with his diabetes management. He's undisputed so far. Coached footballers, rugby players. It's all about how to reach your goal, whatever it is, but with the right diabetes management. Because without the right diabetes management, without your diabetes trying to keep your diabetes in range most of the times, because there's no one that has a perfect straight line when it comes to blood sugar, for people to know, you won't really get there. It's going to be an inefficient journey. So that's what I try to do by coaching, by creating content. So on the academy, I have loads of content that I've created for free, actually, for people to access. And also I'm creating courses. So I was just about to finish a course this year about nutrition and diabetes for parents specifically, so to coach their kids and to how to deal with them. But yeah, all my content got stolen when my car got broken into. So yeah, I'm redoing this now. So, but yeah, that's what I do. And
Oh
obviously I've got
man.
social media as well.
Yeah, man. We hate hearing that.
From a creative standpoint, like
yeah,
Brandon and I are both creators. So from our standpoint,
that just made my heart stop,
yeah, dude, I'm
like,
sorry, bro.
I had the worst time of my life when this happened because
Gee.
I didn't. It was my fault that I didn't. I had like I always back up my stuff, and then a week before the incident, I deleted the backup to re-back it up again because I had more stuff, and I didn't. And then yeah, someone just took the laptop. I'm like, oh wow, that's
Jeez,
amazing.
man.
Sorry to hear that, brother. That is terrible.
That's all right. That was a while ago. So
It's
good.
okay. You're. I can see from the way that you've presented yourself in the competitions, your academy page. It is something that it. I think Forrest Gump said, shit happens. It does, right? It just things happen sometimes, and you can't control when it's outside of your control. You get really angry, even you want to blame it on somebody else. I mean, you just took credit on yourself. Have you been? How has your mental health been? I can say sometimes you got to check on the strongest people. I'm not saying that you are one strong dude. Looking at these muscles, bro. I mean, come on, man. leave some for the rest of us. But like from that perspective, right? People see you and they see this really handsome, well put together man. What's that? How do you, what does your mental health regimen look like? What is that for you?
I deal with mental challenges just like everyone else. So I work so hard to remain positive, but sometimes, like just that incident that I spoke about, for example, that destroyed my mental health for a couple of months. I felt down. I felt, that I lost everything. Okay, I felt that I'm not gonna start again, and I took a break completely. When I compete, for example, sometimes with the severe dieting that I do, my mental health isn't the best. So I take a step back and I kind of look at my life, revise what's going on. Okay, what happened? How can I improve this? Because the most important thing for me, and I believe should be for everyone else, is your mental health. People with diabetes, due to the fluctuation of blood sugar, are prone to more mental challenges, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. So I know this for a fact. So whenever I do feel that, okay, my mind isn't in the right place, I just take a step back. I stop everything that I'm doing, take a step back and see what went wrong and how can I improve it. Okay, maybe is it my blood sugar? Is my blood sugar completely out of range? Okay, no, I have to kind of deal with it myself. What I learned throughout the years is it's not there is no problem of getting help from anyone when it comes to mental health. Like just speaking with anyone about your diabetes or about your life generally makes a huge difference. So I've got my partner. Whenever I do feel down, I speak to her and we solve everything together.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been to a therapist yet, and but there is absolutely no issue of actually seeing a therapist if you're feeling down. And yeah, just want to make it clear that it's completely normal. People do think, by the way, that I don't have any issues. As you said, they look at me and they think, okay, this guy is winning in life, but actually no, I just have the challenges that everyone has.
Right.
I'm glad that
Appreciate
you
that. Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of people, we look at this social media and we see all of these individuals and we see things, right? But that's only one thing that you actually get to see, right? If you don't know that person specifically, or have interactions with them on a maybe not a day-to-day basis but often, then you don't really know that individual. But one thing that stood out to me that you said: breaks, taking break, even after the issue with the media getting the laptop getting taken. you went to this place, right? But you realize like, I'm not going to do this. I need to take a break. And I think in the world that we live in today, it's all go, 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 go. And it's tough for people to realize like, hey, it's okay not to go out and party. It's okay, maybe if you've been hitting it hard at the gym, to take a break. It's okay to get away and take a vacation if you can. It's okay to just sit in your space and just think, or just not think, you know. And I think as men, the hardest thing is asking for help. I know you said you have your significant other that you can talk to, but sometimes it's so tough for men specifically, everybody, but men specifically, to reach out to somebody. And that could be either because they don't want to be vulnerable or they don't know how to do it, you know. So I appreciate you for even saying like, hey, I talked to my significant other. And, you know, I think sometimes people don't want to put that burden on that individual, but I also look at the people that are in your life. They're there for a reason. And if they're not there to help you in those tough times, then those might not be the right people for you to be around, because you should always have somebody that you can lean on when you actually really, really need it.
Exactly. Excuse me. Exactly. I mean, your circle needs to be supportive, and that maybe with men, I think maybe there is a bit of ego as well, that you find it. Yeah, there it does exist. Like some I saw it in lots of my friends, where I can see that their mental health is broken, but they don't want to speak about it, and yeah, it's because they just think it's I don't know, an unmanly thing to do. Maybe I don't know where they got this from, but yeah, that shouldn't be the case. One really good point that you said, Brandon, is it's okay to take a break from working out hard or partying or whatever you do. That is 100% true, because I'm a life example where I got burned out. So I've been working very, very hard since I left my job, on my own business and on my own stuff. And then I realized at one point that I'm actually mentally tired, and I had to take that break. And that helped me a lot to push me further, actually. So yeah.
No, that's very important. I as Matt said, we're entering we're entering the fourth quarter right now. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So you've been living with this since you were 18 years old, diabetes since you were 18 years old. And obviously there's a lot of technology that has come out that has been, I don't want to say better for individuals, because some people don't enjoy wearing the technology or using it. But what devices do you currently use?
Right now, as we're speaking, I'm on the Freestyle Libre 2 and the Omnipod pump, and I switch between the Omnipod and MDI, so like insulin pens. I was I think I pretty much tried lots of stuff. Like I tried Dexcom as well, G6. I tried another pump back in the days. The reason I'm with Omnipod is because it's a tubeless pump, so it's really good with my activity. But yeah, technology helped us a lot, a lot. I can't, you know, thank whoever invented these stuff enough, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm curious, since you're across the pond, and a lot of people have had access to the Libres prior to, I would say, the Dexcoms. What was your reasoning for kind of leaning on the Libre versus the Dexcom? Or, you know, did you have a personal preference, or did it come down to insurance, or just what you like?
So in UK, in UK, you actually get this stuff for free through the NHS. So I would get the Libre for free. Dexcom, I was on it because they sponsored me, and then I felt I did feel that for me the Libre is a bit more accurate, in the sense that the whole point of a CGM, continuous glucose monitor, like a Dexcom, is to notify me before I go hypoglycemic. It used to happen after I go hypoglycemic. So I'd be in the kitchen munching on my sugar and stuff, and then the Dexcom beeps. I'm like, okay, there's no point now. So saying this though, I know lots of people that find Dexcom way more accurate. So it's a very subjective thing.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but now I'm on the Libra and it's completely fine. I'm even using the Libra 2 as a CGM, not even as a flash monitor. So I'm using it as if I'm wearing a Dexcom. So I look at my smartwatch and I can see my readings. There is a way
Wow.
of doing.
The
Yeah.
3 just came out, right?
3 came out as well. 3 is really good. It's very tiny.
Have you tried it, or it's just a matter of?
I haven't, because it's not here in UK still, but I have clients that are on it, and it's actually mixed opinions. So I know a guy who's saying it's very inaccurate compared to the Libra. I know another girl that's saying it's perfect. So it's, as I said, to be honest, with technology, with diabetes technology, is very, very personal, very subjective. Even the pumps.
It's such a personal preference, man. It's
It
like
is.
it's like Xbox or PlayStation, or you know what
Exactly.
I mean. So, so it's crazy. So I'll ask this too, in regards to, you mentioned like the insulin pump and not having tubes and using the Omnipod. Would that be a huge reason for you using the Omnipod specifically just because it's tubeless?
That's probably 90% of the reason that I'm using Omnipod. So Omnipod now, I'm their fitness ambassador, so they sponsor me, but I've been using it even before that. I was on another pump back in the days. I'm not sure if I should say its name, but it was a tube pump, and whenever I get engaged in any high intensity exercise, I had to take it off because it just wouldn't work. And not you would know this, but not all types of exercises would actually drop your blood sugar. Some of them will elevate it. So I end up being hyperglycemic at the end of the session. So it canceled the whole purpose. So I jumped into MDI, then jumped back on a pump because I suffered from something called dawn phenomena, which is the morning hyperglycemia. And pretty much, like, not, I wouldn't say the only way, but the best way of dealing with dawn phenomena is having a pump, because then with the Omnipod or any pump, I can adjust the basal temporarily to increase it by a specific amount in a specific time frame. So
Are you looping? Are you looping the?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if that was something that you also do there.
No, it will be actually, because Dexcom now works with Omnipod. So I think it's in the US. So again, I've got a couple of clients there that they're having a closed loop wearing Omnipod 5 and Dexcom G6. But it's not here yet, not in UK.
And I used to work at Tandem Diabetes Care, so I was working as an inbound sales rep. I would answer the phone and sell pumps to people wearing that device. I actually started working there wearing an Omnipod. But
no way. How come you changed? Is because you worked there?
Wow, because I worked there, and like distinctly remember telling, the media team that I was nominated for an event, like for an award, an event. I go, you really want me to go up on stage wearing an Omnipod? And I said that to the president of the company at a happy hour after work one day. And the next day they were like, all right, fill this information out so we can get you a pump. So after 3 months of working there, you, or like, let's say your family member, your spouse, or somebody who has diabetes, you could get an employee device that it didn't go through insurance. It was a loaner, and it went through the company. And then once I left the company, I had to give that back. So I went from Omnipod to Tandem for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then back to MDI, contemplated going back to Omnipod, but then ultimately decided I like Control IQ. So it is a total personal preference.
Why is it? So you're an Omnipod then now?
No, right now I'm back on the Control IQ with the Tandem T-Slim.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Dexcom G6. But I am well aware of their second generation product, or their new product that's coming out rather, that will be tubeless, almost tubeless. It's supposed to rival the Omnipod system there. But honestly, after I wore the Omnipod for like 3 years. The whole idea was to wear it on my arms because I was working out, I was riding my bike, I was super active. Yeah, like what? It was great.
Makes a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but at 6 millimeter, 45-degree angle infusion set for every single person is a little annoying. So,
yeah, I do have some issues with it, and I do address it with them as well every time we speak.
Good. I'm glad I said that, because that was my only gripe, is like that one thing.
Give them that user feedback is very important. Yeah. Very important. Very, very. I guess before we wrap, can I would love to ask you this question. I feel like, as being a competitor, because you are in football once before, and then also in bodybuilding, what would you say to somebody that was just diagnosed and maybe having a difficult time, whether it's the person living with diabetes or the caregivers of the person taking care of the person with diabetes? What kind of words of encouragement, or anything that you would think that would make them feel a little bit better about living with this disease, since we'll just call you an OG living with diabetes?
I would say it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Education is key. I wouldn't say I'm even like one of a kind or anything, but in every single sport, there is someone out there that is performing really well, having type 1 diabetes. In every sport, I'm telling you, I've Googled everyone. So regardless of your goal, it is achievable with diabetes. It's not an obstacle. All you got to do is to know a few things. You got to know that everything in diabetes is about trial and error. Everything is subjective to that person. Everyone is different. It's not embarrassing to have diabetes. It's your choice whether you want to show it or not. It's completely personal preference, but don't be embarrassed about it. In fact, you show it off. Something that I feel, and I'm sure everyone here feels as well, is when you achieve something dealing with diabetes, the reward is a lot more, the result is a lot more rewarding, put it that way. So when it comes to, let's say you're going to play basketball or football or win a bodybuilding competition, it's a completely different feeling. Even finishing a uni degree, finishing school, doing your homework, knowing that you've been dealing with a 24/7 condition and being able to achieve what others are achieving or even better, that would put you in a different place mentally and psychologically. You would actually feel better about yourself. So
Amen.
you gotta
Yeah.
that is true. I'm not just saying that, but this happens every time. Like, not even when I win a competition, just competing, just showing up there, I'd be like, wow, I did all this, I did all the dieting, I did all the carb loading and water manipulation and all the stuff that we do before a competition, dealing with an even harder condition or a harder thing to do. So it's a great feeling to finish it up. So from this, you got to use it as your motivation, and that's how it works with me. That's how I get motivated to do stuff. It's basically, I have this condition and I'm going to achieve it while dealing with this condition. So yeah, get out there, put a plan. You will find challenges, but you're not gonna, it's not an obstacle. Diabetes is not an obstacle. Just get educated and know that everyone is different.
Man, it's so real. The way you experience the same feeling that likely Brandon, myself, other people have felt once you achieve something living with diabetes and going, damn, I did that. I made it.
Feels
Now,
good.
Yeah.
now, granted, we are not looking as swole as you are, my friend. Jeez, how much bench, bro? How did I not ask you that like right up from the jump? What do you put up?
Oh man, I haven't probably been under a bench bar for a while now because I've been injured since January. You know that incident where I told you my laptop got stolen? At that same week, I ruptured a ligament here. So my life was like, okay, stop, pause
Okay.
my life.
Okay.
I took a break. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, normally, I would go for 160 kg. That's about it.
Yeah.
Nothing massive. Yeah.
Well, your results are evident that you're of your hard work, my friend, and I can say that it's a pleasure to speak with you and talk about such intimate and personal things. Really looking forward to having a second follow-up conversation. I think maybe a bit more about how what through your process, how you go through and help individuals. Maybe we can talk about a little bit more about helping young men. So that is our focus. We appreciate your time and energy that you put into the community that we are both a part of and have been a part of. So yeah.
I appreciate what you guys do for the community actually as well. Like, with the fact that you're putting the time and effort to do these podcasts that I know a lot of people listen to. That's just an amazing thing to do for the community. So thank you as well.
We appreciate that. And then one more thing, do you want to drop any of your social media, website? We're going to put it all in the show notes, but we just want you, so you can voice it, you can put it out there so people can hear it from you.
Sure. So my biggest account is my Instagram, which is Mr. Keshta. Sorry, I don't know why I said it wrong. Mr. Keshta. So YouTube, I've got a YouTube channel as well. It's called Khalid Keshta Academy. And finally, the Diabetes Academy, I renamed it to Keshta Academy. So all you got to type is keshtaacademy.com. There is tons of free content there, tons of videos, articles, and stuff that I've been doing throughout the years. And then there's also the coaching side of it, where I can help you on an individual basis. And I am reworking on my courses as well. So the courses are going to be a very comprehensive course that will just help you with. I'll just put all my time and experience in it. So yeah,
I can imagine. Yeah, you were pretty pissed about losing it, and then decided to redo it. And so now I can only imagine to what level you've risen. So it's great to see.
Yeah.
It's great to speak with you, and we're looking forward to coming back and following up. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you again, Khalid.
Thank you, guys. It was my pleasure.
For sure. And as always, keep it 100. Peace.